Wyoming, Alaska, Vermont. Vermont has constitutional carry and Texas doesn't.
Yeah.
Now you tell me, Governor Perry, why Vermont was one of the two first states to have constitutional carry. Alaska and Vermont were the only ones for like 20 years. And Texas has no constitutional. If you don't have constitutional carry in Texas, what kind do you have?
Yeah.
Unconstitutional carry. That's what you have here. Plain and simple. So Arizona and Wyoming now have joined the other two that says you don't have to have any kind of a permit to carry a gun, open or concealed. Now we've seen recently where there's been some open carry rallies and whatnot, and people went into a store and people kind of freak out because they see somebody walking in with an AR-15 on their strapped to their shoulder or back, whatever, and people go, oh, you know, oh no. Doesn't it cause less alarm if you just put it under your coat? It does. When I was sheriff, and when I was in law enforcement, I said, why don't we ask people to carry and conceal? They still have, oh, carry concealed is against the law. What? It used to be a felony to put a gun on your, so you could walk around with a gun on your hip, but if you covered it with your coat, you were a felon. How ridiculous can we get in this country?
Yep.
And so, I'm sorry, Texas, you're behind times and you need to catch up. And my concealed carry permit is called the Second Amendment. And I wrote a book about this when I first filed the lawsuit. I wrote a book about my motivation against the Brady bill. Now, most of you know, I didn't sue on the Second Amendment, did I? I sued on the 10th Amendment. I said the federal government had no authority in our state to promote gun control or to tell me what to do or to commandeer my office for federal bidding. We won the most powerful 10th Amendment decision in the history of our country. And I have a copy of the case right here. This is a highlighted version of the case. Let me quote one little thing, especially for you, the people from the press. Let me quote one little thing from this decision. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Again, this is the most powerful 10th Amendment decision in the history of our country. And probably this one sentence will prove it right here. Okay? We have held, however, that state legislatures are not subject to federal direction. Does the federal government know that? Does the state government know that? Neither one of them know it. How about having them read this case? Yeah. Let's see. Who's your attorney general right now? I can't remember his name. Yeah, Abbott. I handed this to Abbott when they were suing the federal government. He didn't use it. Virginia sued the federal government on Obamacare, and they did use it. And South Carolina just made a law stating that the federal government kind of has to back off, and they quoted this case, the Mack case. And we should be using it all the time. And one other one real quickly. The federal government, we held, may not compel the states to enact or administer a federal regulatory program. What does that do to Obamacare? Does the state of Texas have to participate in any way with Obamacare? No. They do not. They absolutely do not. And so what about if the Supreme Court said, yes, you do? You still don't. You still don't. Just because they get it wrong doesn't mean it's right. Two wrongs don't make it right. So we have a lot of work to do, and it's the best place to do it is in your county with a true leader, a true constitutional sheriff. And you take that and you spread it out throughout Texas. And if we had literally hundreds of sheriffs in Texas doing their job and keeping their oath, there'd be no stopping us. This would be spreading all over the country. But we have sheriffs that are actually afraid to keep their oath of office. Do you know what the idiot sheriff in Clark County, Nevada said during the Bundy siege? I don't have the authority to interfere. What is that saying? That is saying I don't have the authority to keep my oath of office. I don't have the authority to enforce the Constitution. I don't have the authority to keep the peace. I don't have the authority to protect the people from the onslaught of the BLM and hiring mercenaries to shoot people. Men, women, anybody who was there, they were going to shoot us. They were going to shoot us. And they hired mercenaries to do it. And then, this is kind of the tale of two cities. Dickinson's novel, about these are the worst of times, these are the best of times. Well, it's also the tale of two sheriffs. And lo and behold, there's already case precedent in Nevada about how the BLM and the Forest Service tried to steal the cattle and ruin the ranch of one family called Wayne Haig family, the Haig family. Now, Wayne Haig fought for his ranch 25 years. The Bundys are in it now 21 years, fighting the federal government to keep what's already theirs that's been in their family for decades, some even centuries. And so the Wayne Haig case came out about 10 years ago that they won. Wayne Haig lost his first wife during the battle, lost his second wife during the battle. Then he died during the battle. Then his son, Wayne Jr., and his daughter, Ramona, picked up the gauntlet and continued the fight. And then Judge Robert Jones, federal district judge, said this: the actions and behavior of the BLM and the Forest Service shock the conscience of this court. And he said they committed criminal conspiracy between the BLM and Forest Service to destroy the constitutional rights of Wayne Haig, to destroy his ranch, to get rid of him and get him off the land, just as they did with the Bundys. And what did you have the media saying, and a lot of other pundits, even conservative pundits, saying that Bundys were in the wrong because they should have paid their fair share of the grazing fees. The other ranchers paid theirs. That's like saying, we all are getting abused and we all are getting screwed over, so everybody has to accept getting screwed over. And the Bundys, what's the matter with them? They're not very good slaves, are they? They don't want to pay their grazing fees. Grazing fees? That's the equivalent of having breathing fees. It is better. It helps us to have ranchers on public land. You want to take care of the land? Put a farmer or rancher on it. Yep. That's how you take care of the land. And believe me, these ranchers pay enough taxes, about 20 times the taxes the rest of us. By the time that beef gets on your table, it's been taxed about 20 times, and they don't pay enough? Come on. But anyway, just so you know, there were 53 ranchers in Clark County, Nevada. There's one left. One. Why is our own government destroying our food supply? Have you wondered that? Why have they turned off the water to Klamath Falls Basin? Why have they turned off the water to the San Joaquin Valley in California, where we get 50% of our fruits, vegetables, and nuts for the entire country? Why have they done that? I was just in Merced, California, campaigning there with a guy running for sheriff by the name of Vern Warnke. I've seen the signs. I've seen the farms. The almond industry, especially there, is absolutely wasting away to nothing. You can see some of these farms, they put signs up, federal government is the cause of this, and you look out there and there's weeds and dust. And they've turned off the water and still off. 25 out of the 56 sheriffs that are close to that area and affected by it should walk up to that dam together with their posses and turn that water back on. It's just that simple. And then if they need to stand guard, then you stand guard. Because what do? We protect and serve. And that's what we've promised to do. We will uphold and defend the United States Constitution. That's what we promised to do. And so this book was a derivative of that very movement. It says, "From my cold dead fingers, why America needs guns." And then just a couple of years ago, I did the sequel, The Magic of Gun Control. Now, is gun control magic? It would have to be. Because, and I came up with a new word, you'll love this word, Pam. Polymagician. The polymagicians in Washington, D.C. want you to believe that gun control is magic. Thus the title, The Magic of Gun Control. Because gun control has only been used to enslave, to destroy, to promote genocide, to kill, to maim, and to control. Right. And they want you to believe that it'll be magic in America today, and it'll work. For once in world history, it'll keep us safer. It'll strengthen liberty. It'll strengthen our resolve to be free. Well, if you buy that, I've got beachfront property for you in Omaha. Because it's never happened and it never will. And besides, even if your statistical analysis could somehow show that reducing guns in the country will all make us safer, in America, and you'll see the chapter in here, in America, gun control is against the law. Gun control is against the law. And now we have 20,000 unconstitutional violations of the law in this country. And what's the answer? What do they tell us? We need more. We all want to be like Chicago. And you know what Chicago says? It's because you have guns in Texas and Indiana and Ohio and other places near Chicago. The people in downtown Chicago and the gangs go over to the other states and get guns and come back and use them in Chicago. LA, I guess, has to be saying the same thing. Detroit, saying the same thing. New York City, same thing. It's absurd. How about in Mexico, where they've always been against the law? Oh yeah, the cartels come and get them in the Arizona gun shows and then take them back. No, Barack Obama did that in his operation called Fast and Furious. Yeah. So, bottom line is, I wrote a book also about everything that's going on here, and it's just a little 50-page pamphlet called The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. And I wrote that pursuant to the election of 2008. The book came out February of 2009. It's been out about 5.5 years. And I'm right now writing and just finished the sequel. You want to hear the title of the sequel? Yeah. All right. You sitting down? Yeah. Okay, down. Are You a David? That's the name of the book. Are You a David? And it shows me on the front with my sheriff uniform and Goliath in the back with his sword coming up behind me. So I'm asking you, are you a David? Even to Sheriff Elliott, who obviously could never be a David, but maybe a David. Yeah. But the call is still the same. And maybe you just look at it as the position and not necessarily what sex you are, because every sheriff in this country, the 15 female sheriffs that there are also asked the same question. Will you answer the call to go against Goliath for your people? That's the book. If you want to sign up for a pre-order, I have the forms over at the table. I have all these other books over at the table. We have a great organization that all of you can join. CSPOA, Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, that's also at the table. Come and get the books. And what these are tools for freedom. We need tools for freedom. And I really appreciated your remarks about that we cannot take America back and kick God out. We can't. And that's part of the solution here. So come by the table and get these tools, and I'll close with this. And this is another quote from the decision. And can you believe that the Supreme Court said this? I want you to grasp this sentence. It comes from the United States Supreme Court, Justice Scalia writing this decision. And he said, quote, "But the Constitution protects us from our own best intentions." Yep. You see, my dear friends, the Constitution doesn't protect us from that. The Constitution is a piece of paper. Only people with the courage to stand and be a true David are going to protect you from the government's, quote, best intentions. That they're going to take care of you, that they're going to make you safer, that it's going to be better if you don't have a gun in your home. You'll all be safer. The guy will come in the home and take it from you and use it on you. Don't have a gun. The propaganda and the media and the enslavement programs are all there. And you're also absolutely correct. Look at the people who've been denied guns throughout history.
That's what Hitler said.
Slaves, exactly. These are the same Hitleric programs that we're trying today, that they're trying to make you think are magic. My dear friends, let's stay true to America. Let's stay true to each other. Let's stay true to the God in heaven that blessed us with these liberties in the first place. There is no way America can try these horrible principles that were established by Hitler and many other dictators of the 20th century. We must. The answer is not if we move forward. We don't need to move forward. The answer is behind us. The answer is in our foundation. It's in our Constitution, and it's in the principles of freedom established by our founders. God bless Texas, and God bless America.